So I know this is a rarity. I'm giving off 2 videos in one day. I swear I haven't done that in years. But in true blue fashion, there was more content that came out right after I wrapped up the last video. When I was talking about the price point and the availability as well as the release date for the PSVR2, and also giving the comparison between that, the Valve Index, the MetaQuest 2, as well as the Pico 4. Now, if you have not seen that video, it's going to be posted as well. All this should be up today, if not by tomorrow, depending on when you watch it, November 2nd or November 3rd. So I'm trying to get all of this out before I go on vacation on the 5th. So as you're seeing here on the screen, this is coming from the blog.playstation.com site. And this is going over 11 games that just got announced for the VR2, which we all know there's gonna be more. But definitely, if they're mentioning that these 11 games are coming out, then this must be something new or some that they just truly want to focus on. So I'm pretty sure we should get a direct pretty soon, or whatever they call them, the PlayStation Connects, whatever they want to call them. But with the system coming out in February, I'm pretty sure they want to get parents and kids and adults alike hyped as soon as this is coming around. So we're going to start talking about this around probably November or December time frame. Saving up some of those gift cards that you get for Christmas, so that way you can purchase these games. Now I'm going to run through this real quick. I don't want this to be super long, and I want to kind of give my quick insight on all of them. I have watched these trailers, but if you do want to watch these trailers, please go to this site or either go to YouTube and find them. You already know how to do this. So I took a look at the Dark Picture Switchback VR game. Now this looks cool, but is very reminiscent of Epic Roller Coaster. And also the roller coaster game that kind of launched with the first PSVR, and it didn't really do it for me. I know there's gonna always be features with these other games when it comes down to eye tracking, as well as the spatial audio and the haptic feedback. Those are going to live or die with the game depending on how they utilize them. Honestly, for me, I don't really care when it comes down to, like, if you can blink, if I'm not mistaken, you know, that will require if you die or not. So if the eye tracking is on point like that, then that's amazing. But as far as the game in itself, it reminds me a lot of Epic Roller Coaster, as well as a game that launched with the PSVR. So it's kind of hit or miss. Now, for those of you that pay attention or tune into the podcast, as well as to my channel and on my Twitter, this is going to be a hit or miss for Sony with this. Crossfire Sierra Squad. You need shooters in the VR space. As much as I despise shooters, I'm no fool. I know you need shooters in the VR space. They're easy to pick up. They're pretty fun. They tend to be one of the highest regard games outside of like your rhythm games. But for the simple fact that they're providing a 360 VR space, as well as good graphics for you to be able to shoot, and different guns and everything else that comes along with it, you're gonna definitely need that audio for anything that may be sneaking up on you. This is something that's needed. So they need to attach a date to this as soon as possible. They can't just do 2023 and this headset comes out in February and this game doesn't come out until the end of the damn year. Like, they have to have this ready. Just skimming through this, it looks like there's 60 campaign missions, which is amazing. Hopefully it continues to receive support like a lot of the first-person shooters on the Quest 2, but that's yet to be seen. Light Brigade didn't look interesting at all, honestly. Like I said, if y'all want to read through this, you can, but I'm just kind of giving my input on it real quick just to give you some insight. Cities VR is pretty cool. I have it on the Quest 2. So it's definitely something, if you want to get into like the whole Sim City, build city situation, they're gonna have it on the VR2, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna look pretty nice with all that, you know, the PSVR2 is capable of giving when it comes down to graphics. But I'm curious as into if they're going to add anything new to the PSVR2 version of said game outside of what's already on Quest 2. Cosmania's High. Don't really care. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Really don't care. It's supposed to be, from what it says, the creators of Job Simulator and Vacation Simulator, which I love both of those games. But honestly, if you're talking about those two games, while they are amazing for what they are, they definitely are kind of like your, I guess you could say, tech demos to kind of showcase what you can do within VR space. So if this is anything similar to that, then you know, hit or miss. For most gamers, you know Hello Neighbor. Like, Hello Neighbor has been around for a while now, and to kind of have a game in this space is going to be very interesting. I'm curious as to how this is going to compete with the Among Us, how it's going to compete with VR chat. to where the name in itself is synonymous and is very popular, you cannot beat the customization of VR chat, or the popularity that's spiraling around Among Us at this moment in time. So I'm just kind of curious, as far as I know, you're trying to get away from this neighbor in general, trying to find a way out the house, whatever the case may be. But search and rescue, I'm assuming you're going to be saving some people here and there. But it looks like it's coming to both VR2 and VR, so that's interesting. I'm kind of curious to see if this is also going to be a Quest thing, but that's yet to be seen or announced. Jurassic World Aftermath Collection. This is a pretty interesting game. I've never really cared for it because it's not anything that you're really doing in the game. It's more of like an experience where you can hide and run from the dinosaurs, but I don't think you do anything outrageous in the game, or are you fully invested in it. I haven't, like I said, I really haven't touched it, but it looks like it's coming with both part 1 and part 2, so that's cool. But they are always heavily discounted on Quest 2 sales whenever I go to the Quest store. But definitely, I mean, if you're into Jurassic World, definitely check it out. See if it's something that's up your alley, something that you're interested in. But once again, it all just keeps saying launching in 2023. Nothing seems to have a concrete date. And then, for the 4K 90 frames per second, honestly, that stuff with VR doesn't really bother me. As long as the frame rate stays consistent and high to where you don't get motion sickness, that's all I care about, right? Now, this is my joint right here, Pistol Whip. Everybody talk about like John Wick and how it makes you feel, but this game right here, man, it'll have you sweating, have you moving all over the place. But definitely, I love Pistol Whip. I don't care that it's already on the Quest 2, but if it comes down to VR, like PlayStation VR needed this. Like, you need a game like this. So I really love the fact that this is coming. Hopefully it comes with all the updates already. So when we talk about the campaign mode, we talk about the contracts that just got added not too long ago to Quest 2. Hopefully it comes fully functional and we're not waiting for content when this game does release. But if you plan on getting a PSVR2, yo, this gotta be your first game. Pistol Whip has to be your first game for sure. Zenith. I know this one released not too long ago on the Quest 2. I really don't get into like RPG games on the Quest because one, a lot of that movement around. If you don't like teleporting, you're gonna get motion sick. It's just, it's kind of hit or miss for me. Honestly, it seems to be a great game. I know people that have it that enjoy it. I don't really care for it all that much, but definitely I'm not gonna crap on the game just because I don't play it. But if you're looking for RPGs and to be able to team up with other people, definitely look into Zenith. After the Fall is a pretty cool game. It's definitely kind of in the vein of your Left 4 Dead, but it's definitely customizing your weapons and kind of putting things together, whether you have like punching weapons, you have the shooting weapons, but it's all about survival in itself when it comes down to partnering up with a different group of people. I think where this really kind of shines when it comes down to the Quest, we can all be in the same household at the same time, but with online you can definitely partner up with people and definitely speak to them and make sure that y'all all on one accord and in the same page. Wondering how this is going to work with the haptic feedback, and then if they have anything with eye tracking. I'm kind of curious, but nonetheless, After the Fall gets a lot of praise on the Quest 2, so it's definitely something that you all should look out for as well. Tentacular, I never really paid too much attention to this game. I think it's one of those like God Sim type games to where you kind of create and destroy however you see fit, but you're playing as like a octopus or a squid, whichever it is, and you kind of do it that way. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna read through any of this. If y'all want to see it, definitely go to the blog site or go to YouTube and definitely check it out. But I just kind of wanted to give my 2 cents on the games that they've showcased, which, like I said, this is not going to be the say all be all. I believe they said it's supposed to be 30 games in development that's supposed to be there at launch, which is amazing. Definitely need something for that. But if I had to say the games that's going to make a lot of noise, After the Fall is going to make noise. Pistol Whip for sure is going to make noise. Let's see. It's Crossfire, Sierra Squad. Those are like the 3 games. And to be honest with you, the only reason why I say those are the only 3 is because this right here is just reminiscent of what they released on the VR. It's kind of hit or miss. You get it, played a few times, it's gonna be a wrap. The shooter is always gonna win out. Uh, the Light Brigade looked boring. Cities VR, that's kind of hit or miss if you like the simulation style of things outside of your PC and you want to do it on VR. I mean, they have what is it called, like little cities or little something on the Quest 2, and I'm curious if that will come. And that's more simplistic, more of a time killer, more of a relaxing game to where it's not as in depth as Cities VR, to where you can mess up a lot in this game, and it does require a lot of attention, a lot of your attention. Not too sure about this game, but we'll see. Hello Neighbor, like I said, it's got too much competition, dude. Like, VR chat is a serious problem. Like that's the Roblox of the VR space. Like, VR chat is a problem, and the fact that you can do crossplay between VR and PC and consoles, that's a problem. And Rec Room is the same way. So Hello Neighbor, we'll see. Jurassic World is kind of like the whole Vader Immortal type games. I really don't care for those experiences. And as far as Zenith, like I said, if you want to stay in the VR space that long, that's totally up to you to be in those RPG type games. And Tentacooler, I feel like, would be like a one-off, you know, fun party situation to kind of show off to people. But that's about the gist of it. Honestly, folks, I needed to see a little bit more, but they did show, I say 3 out of the 11, but they do need to show up with some rhythm games, some party games, and that's where they're gonna shine. Because honestly, when you added wired into the headset, that's where you kind of killed yourself with the multiplayer, as well as that price point. But I'm also curious too, will we have physical copies? How much would these games be on PlayStation Store? We shall see. But I just wanted to kind of give that quick rundown. Don't want to take too much of your time. Like I said, after you check out this video, if you haven't checked out the last video where I go over the details of the PSVR2 as far as its pricing and its release date compared to the other devices that are out currently right now, please go check that out. And then definitely make sure that you tune into the Winging It podcast every Sunday at 7 Eastern Standard Time, and come and check out the crew from Jay, Sandstorm, Shadow, Andre, Vicky. Like, come and check us all out, check out all our channels, and yeah, definitely catch y'all later. Peace.